Hello people of the internet, this is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You are watching Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords with the restored content modification. Last time on KotOR 2, we finally finished off Nar Shaddaa with a couple of side questy bits, mainly to do with Vog of the Hutt and getting the fuel for the Telos Citadel station, and then we headed back over to Telos to tell them that they're not going to fall out of orbit because I have the fuel they need, which is marvellous. And I'm relieved we finished off with Nar Shaddaa now, because I was getting rather fed up at the place thanks to the ridiculous amount of combat that the restored content mod restored, which really affects the pacing of the planet for me personally. Now then, before I carry on, I'm just going to double check my party members, change a couple of things out, because I want KotOR to have a lightsaber, and I also want to give HK a gun because I removed the double two-handed weapons mod because it was making dual-bladed swords and lightsabers look absolutely ridiculous, which is unfortunate because I really only wanted it for HK-47, but it sort of detracts from the rest of the game for me in a way that I didn't want it to do, so I've removed that. But I've added another of the high resolution mods in, so that's good. You'll see that in a couple of minutes once I leave for the next planet, and I'm trying to decide what gun to give. We'll give the Ion one to HK. Krea's fine as she is. Everyone else is fine as they are, I believe. Yes. I mean, with the double-bladed lightsaber, I am going to switch it out between KotOR, the Handmaiden, and Disciple for a bit, because I only have the one. So it's annoying, but why has HK put a shield on? That's really weird, and I think KotOR may have done the same as well. Before I carry on, I just want to say a huge massive thank you to everybody who's been commenting on my KotOR 2 videos recently and liking the videos and supporting the videos, and this also extends to the first KotOR as well. I've been getting quite a lot of comments on those videos despite how they're pretty much 2 years old at this point. I'm blown away by how much support I've been receiving lately. The comments are fantastic. I'm speechless, to be honest. I'm really touched. I was never expecting anything along the lines of the comments I've been receiving lately, and I only went into this because I wanted to. I didn't think I was going to get a massive amount of support, but seeing comments like the ones I've been seeing lately are the reason why I do these videos. I don't do it for fame. I do it because I have fun playing them, and I just want to have fun recording some of my favourite games ever. So thank you very much. I know I've sort of diverted from the point of this particular video, but I want to address it here and now because it is a very recent development, and you guys are the reason why I'm so speechless at the moment. So thank you very much. I do read your comments, and even if I don't respond to them straight away, I do intend to get around to them as soon as I can, once I have a few minutes to sort of sit down and think up a good response for you. But I am definitely reading them. I definitely appreciate what you're saying, and thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I'm going to stop myself now before I start crying live on air. I'm recording this on a Sunday, which isn't a wise idea because normally you go back to work the following morning. But it's bank holiday weekend, so I've got my first day of the week off. Monday's off for me and countless other people, so that's nice. So I'm recording on a Sunday night, which is not very common for me. But there you go. Enough rambling, because I've spent the first 5 or so minutes talking random crap, to be honest. So, where are we going to go next? Korriban is tempting, but we're not going to go to Korriban. We're going to go to Onderon. yeah, let's go to Onderon. Let's not waste time. Apparently the climate is temperate, which I hadn't actually read any of this before. Terrain is a forest, and Isis Spaceport is where we will dock. Okay, interesting, because I think some of these things are a little bit conflicting. But anyway, let's go there. And I should apologise for something that's been a frequent thing ever since I switched over to OBS for recording the Knights of the Old Republic games. It doesn't get on with the cutscenes or going back from the cutscenes back to the engine. There's a bit of a black screen delay between the two when they trigger. It's very odd. I could fix that for the cutscenes with at least NVIDIA Shadow Play, because it's only a short thing. But anyone who watched my first KotOR LP will know why I switched from Shadow Play to OBS. And oh, we got an interesting situation here. What's going on?
Well, this is Onderon. It looks like there's a long line to get into the Isis starport.
Something feels wrong here. A great disturbance here in orbit, and again on the planets below.
I guess this blockade is a symptom of larger problems on Onderon.
If they decide to do a cargo search, we're gonna be in trouble.
Looks like we're about to find out. I'm receiving a message from some Colonel Tobin. Patching it through.
The Ebon Hawk. I was told to expect your arrival. I don't know your business on Onderon, but it ends here.
Well, isn't that nice? And we have some ships that are trying to... Oh, yep, they're trying to attack us. Lovely.
We've taken some hits. We can try to fight back, or I can outrun them and hide us on the jungle moon nearby. It's your call.
I love how the game gives you a choice here, because if this was the first Knights of the Old Republic, you would be forced into a combat situation regardless. Obsidian were nicer than BioWare, and we're going to let you choose. I'm going to man the turret just because this is one of the only times in the game where you're actually piloting the Ebon Hawk turret. So we're going to do that. I'll man the turret. Just keep us steady. And here we go, we got a turret minigame, which is slightly different from the first Knights of the Old Republic game, because, as you can see, the Ebon Hawk is actually moving, which it didn't in the original game, and it's a bit more vibrant and a bit more dynamic, so that's nice. And I was going to turn the volume down on my microphone, but then one of the headphones decided not to work when I did that, so I'm going to keep it extremely loud and obnoxious. But that's fine, because I can take my headphones off and ignore that problem. Right, where are the other ships? Okay, there's at least one left. There we go, that's all of them. See, much better than the first game.
I can't keep us in one piece much longer. Sorry to spoil your fun, but we've got to land now. I'm gonna put us down on that jungle moon.
Oh, come on, Atten. I wasn't that bad. We didn't get damaged that much. But there we go. We've been diverted from Onderon. And this is one of my favourite landing cutscenes in the game, actually.
You know, just once I wish someone was glad to see us. But no, if it isn't weapons pointed at our heads, it's someone trying to blast us out of the sky.
I remember the days when welcoming committee used to mean something, without being followed by blaster bolts.
What now?
Well, the space battle's still going on overhead. Since they were so eager to use our hull for target practice, I doubt they're just gonna forget us. Well, I don't like it. Onderon is about as far from the core as you can get and still be in the Republic. But even out here, the locals have heard of us.
We're lucky I was able to find this place to land. Looks like something has cleared away the jungle in a few spots around here.
And where exactly did we land?
Looks like one of the moons of Onderon. Not sure which one. It's mostly jungle and mountain. I did pick up the remains of an old outpost near here. Maybe that's why there's all these clearings around. Maybe they were once settlements.
There were no settlements here. Those clearings were most likely once craters or crash sites.
Crash sites?
This is Duxon, where the Mandalorians began their crusade against the Republic. The remains of whatever outposts you detected here are military ones. We should be careful.
This is where the Mandalorian Wars started?
This doesn't look like much of a battlefield.
Much is buried here, and there is much that should remain buried.
How badly is the ship damaged?
It's taken a little damage, nothing too serious. I'm shutting down all unnecessary systems until we make repairs. It'll keep us from being a target.
Little bit odd considering you were having a bit of a drama queen moment over, oh look, we've taken too much damage, let's land on this random jungle moon. We need to get to Onderon.
Until the ship is repaired, we're not going anywhere. Unless you can find another route to Onderon, we should sit tight.
There may be a means to get to Onderon by another route. The Force has guided us here for a reason. We should explore our surroundings. There is something here.
Something? Oh, there's something here, all right. Predators. Not small flit darters, but big, mean, nasty predators.
Nevertheless, we should explore our surroundings. And that nearby outpost would be as good a place as any to begin.
Running around the jungle isn't a good idea, at least without some sort of recce.
I agree. Going off alone is just asking for trouble, especially when there's no more reason for it other than a cryptic whim. No offense.
If we hope to get to Onderon and leave this moon, then we need to explore this place. We landed here for a reason, I am certain of it.
Let's head to the outpost then.
Well, if you go, be careful. No telling what other ships were forced down in the battle.
I have a feeling the ship will not be repaired until our business here is concluded. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah, I understand. What's so important about this place?
This is where the Mandalorian Wars began. He fought here once, and there are things here he must see.
He fought here? Why didn't he say anything?
Do you speak of all your battles? Or are there some you wish to forget?
And that's the reason why I haven't talked to Atten yet, because I feel that if you talk to Atten before coming to Duxon, the line Kreia says there doesn't resonate quite as well. I still want Atten to be this somewhat untrustworthy guy at this stage. Like, we don't actually know about Atten yet. I could ask him. I could have asked him back on Nar Shaddaa. But for the sake of the writing, I want to delay that conversation with Atten for as long as possible. So I'm not going to talk to him about it until after I've finished Duxon and Onderon, which is going to be quite a while. But anyway, let's check our journal. So we need to find the outpost, and we're back on a planet where the Mandalorian Wars started. So that's a great way to keep our motivation going. Here, let's visit the old battlegrounds that you fought a war on. That's not a PTSD moment, I don't know what is. And an alternative route to Onderon. Which, looking at it now, that blockade thing seems very much inspired by the Phantom Menace. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but there you go. So, who am I going to take with me to Duxon? Decisions. Anybody but Goto. That's my motto for the rest of the game. Anybody but Goto. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is I'm probably going to take Beodor and Mira with me, just because I believe they have some interesting dialogue on Duxon, or at least Mira does. I can't remember about Beodor. And that should be good. And you'll notice when I leave the ship that you can't take Atten with you because he is repairing the ship as best he can, which makes sense. And also it's a nice contrast to Nar Shaddaa, where you should in theory use Atten as much as possible. Now then, I'm going to take Mira with me, and I'm going to take Beodor, at least initially. I mean, I could take Kreia. Decisions. This is why I wish the game let you take 3 party members with you instead of 2. You know what? I'm going to take Kreia with me. I've decided. Because I can always switch them out if need be. Off we go. And those of you that are familiar with the game will notice Duxon looks very different compared to the vanilla game, much like every other planet we've been to in the game, because I've given this planet a more alien look, or at least I feel it's a more alien look. This is another one of the high resolution mods that was developed by Curtis 1973, and all of his mods for every planet in Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 I have always used, because they keep the feel of the original game but they make it a lot fresher for somebody who's played the game a significant amount of times. Another reason why I downloaded this as well was because in the vanilla game, Duxon is very much a green, luscious, foresty planet, and I feel that's a little bit too similar to Dantooine. Even though they do look and feel different, I just think the colour palettes are a little bit too similar for my liking. Whereas this mod makes Duxon feel a little bit more vibrant and almost more war-torn in a way. This blood red feel is something I'm really fond of with this mod. Now I could remove it at any time, that's not a problem, but I'm going to keep it for at least a couple of parts because I like it. And that's one thing I think BioWare did actually do better than Obsidian. They had much more diverse environments than Obsidian did with this game, because I can't think of a single environment in the first KotOR that feels too similar. Whereas in this game I feel there's a couple of planets that have a similar vibe and a similar colour palette and so on and so forth. I don't know why this is triggering now because I haven't actually moved up the map, but maybe it's a time-based thing. So that's just giving us a hint at what creatures and animals live on the planet, and we're going to have to kill them because they're wild, we're interrupting their habitat. So let's kill them. And there appears to be a bit of lag. I'm not sure if that's because of recording or because of this texture mod. I'm going to assume it's because of the texture mod. But we're going to explore everything we can on Duxon. Oh, and this is a hint for later on. You're going to want to pick up everything from Canucks, because there will be a side quest later on where you're going to need to do that. But yeah, with BioWare and Obsidian, BioWare I feel had a much better use of making more unique environments, whereas Obsidian sort of struggled in some areas. But, you know, that's just personal preference. The one area of KotOR 2 that I really like is an area that you're barely in, and that's the Telos polar regions. I would have loved to have seen a fully fleshed out, snowy, wintry planet, but unfortunately that doesn't exist. I'd have happily sacrificed Dantooine for more of a snowy, wintry planet, to be honest, but whatever. And we're just shooting Canucks. We've gone from loads of people on Nar Shaddaa to these animals. How fun is that? But overall it's going quite well. And Kray's just buffing us up with force powers, which is awesome. I don't know why I'm running down here, to be honest, but I'm just doing it to uncover the map because OCD tells me to. Oh, talking of which, Star Wars Battlefront was re-released on Steam this week, just before Star Wars Day. Because again, I'm recording this around the whole Star Wars Day thing. I'm recording this on the 5th of May, which isn't Star Wars Day, but it's Revenge of the 5th, so it sort of counts. And Star Wars Battlefront 1, the original Star Wars Battlefront, was released on Steam, and I decided to buy it because I hadn't played it in absolutely ages. And I'm convinced it's my favourite Star Wars Battlefront game. And I'll explain why in a few minutes, assuming I don't get interrupted, because I'm expecting interruptions.
I've got some news. The space battle is still going on. The Hawk's sensors just picked up a contact heading to the moon. Most of the ship's systems are powered down, so it's about all I got. That ship may have landed nearby, though. Or it may be on the other side of the moon. So you might want to prepare for another friendly Onderon welcome.
They might be on the dark side of the moon. Ooh. Now that that interruption's out of the way, I can get back to my boring story about Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I think Star Wars Battlefront, the original 2004 one, is my favourite Star Wars Battlefront game because I prefer the maps that are in that game compared to Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005. I prefer the more realistic feel that the original Battlefront has. You actually feel like a soldier who's fighting on a battleground. You don't feel like some sort of super soldier who's pretty much invulnerable and is super speedy and everything, because the feel of Battlefront 2 is different from Battlefront 1. And I have to be careful what I'm saying because I always keep thinking I'm just going to say Battlefield by accident. But yeah, I honestly prefer the original Battlefront. If I was going to rate them in order of preference, I'd probably say the original Battlefront, then the original Battlefront 2, then Battlefront 2 EA, and then Battlefront EA. But again, I've barely played Battlefront 2 EA, so it's not the greatest list I've ever come up with, but that will do. But I really love the original Star Wars Battlefront. I questioned the logic that the developers had at the time when they were like, oh, we're going to make Battlefront 2 and it's going to be awesome and it's going to be a massive improvement to the original in loads of ways and it's going to be more up to date because Revenge of the Sith has just been released and we're going to make sure the content revolves around that film. And then they removed the best maps from the original Battlefront. They removed Renvar, they removed the Tatooine Dune Sea map, and they removed a couple of other maps that I was personally fond of. And then the maps they kept were the ones I was either less fond of or the maps I just didn't like. And it really annoyed me. Now I know some of the maps, like one of the Renvar maps, was downloadable content for Battlefront 2, particularly with Xbox Live and going on PC and downloading mods and everything. But I didn't know what I was doing back in 2005. I was 13 years old, and also I was playing it on the PS2 at the time. I wasn't actually on my PC much, aside from KotOR, KotOR 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Okay, I was on my PC quite a bit. The Sims 2, you get the idea. But I was playing the Star Wars Battlefront games on my PS2. And there was no way I was going to be able to get access to that content unless if I connected my PS2 up to the internet, which I didn't do and I never have done. I didn't know what I was doing back then. And also I noticed that Battlefront 1 has much better compatibility with Windows 10 than Battlefront 2 does for some reason. I don't know if I just got really unlucky with Battlefront 2, but I had to do some really bizarre workarounds to make sure Battlefront 2 actually worked. I had to make sure something was always plugged into my microphone port, for example, at least when I tried it with Windows 7 a couple of years ago. Whereas with Battlefront 1, I just installed it earlier today and it worked absolutely fine, no problems whatsoever.
You thinking what I'm thinking? These jungles are filled with long, narrow paths, dumb beasts that just keep charging at you. This place is perfect for mines. If the carcasses were worth anything, you could make a fortune.
And that's why you take Mira with you, because she has interesting lines like that. So if you didn't go to Nar Shaddaa before Duxon, you actually miss out on some potential dialogue here. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, I might have just got unlucky with Battlefront 2 running on Windows 7. It might be better on Windows 10 for all I know, but I don't know. Battlefront 1 just works straight away without having to do anything. The only slight downside is that the resolution's a bit iffy. Like, it runs on my preferred resolution, but it keeps flicking back and forth between the original resolution that the game would have had in 2004, or the highest resolution that was supported in 2004 on the main menus, and then in the actual game it goes to my preferred resolution. It's very odd. But yeah, it was good. I've been playing that again on and off all day, and I've really enjoyed it.
The orbital fighting just ended. That Colonel Tobin stirred up a Minox nest when he took a shot at us. I'm still working on the repairs, and I have to take down some systems, including sensors. So you have to do without me for a while. I know, you're crushed.
I am. We're not going to see or hear from Atten for quite a while. And I'm being serious, as Atten is. We're not going to see Atten in the LP for quite a while. Because he's limited to the Ebon Hawk. And we're probably not going to use him on the next planet either. Because I want to try and use a couple of different characters. Right then, that's the Canucks down. Nice force vision. But yeah, I'm really loving this mod at the moment. This visual enhancement for Duxon really makes the planet feel a little bit more alive than the vanilla release, at least for me personally. I'm not going to bother with the droid, so let's carry on. I think Mira has some unique lines of dialogue here as well, so I want to make sure she's in close proximity. Off we go.
Well,
if it isn't the Zug brothers. Sorry, but this one's my bounty, so keep those weapon barrels pointed down.
Now these guys will be here even if you haven't been to Nar Shaddaa, so it's not a unique option here. This is scripted by default. Why are you hunting me? I'm just going to pretend I'm completely oblivious to why I've had a bounty on my head the entire game. So we're going to be smarter than that. I didn't start the space battle. Yeah, that's fair, in a way. I'd argue it'd be a better reception than the one I received on Nar Shaddaa, and the one I initially received on Telos, and the one I could have received on Dantooine if I had my lightsaber out, if I was even using a lightsaber, because again, I should remind people, I am playing this game without a lightsaber for my main character. If you're just joining me on part 31, if you're one of those random people who's like, I can't be bothered to watch the first 30 parts, let me start on part 31. What do you mean? Everybody wants me dead in this game. It's nothing new. There's no way I'm going to surrender to you. I'm not damaged and lifeless. I mean, if you look at my health bar, I've pretty much got full health. Whatever, let's kill these guys. And apparently this guy's worthy of a name, but his two colleagues are not. Dezanti, goodbye. Actually, they did take off quite a lot of health there. That's a bit worrying. But it doesn't matter because they're dead. Got some nice armour there. And Kreia was just all the way back here. Why were you just standing there, Kreia? You could have at least helped us out. It's actually quite nice to use Kreia again because, again, she spent most of Nar Shaddaa on the Ebon Hawk, so that's good. I don't know why these guys are so injured, but it doesn't matter because we killed them as well. Picking up random stuff. Okay, random data pad. Looks like some hints from the Mandalorian Wars. And yeah, nothing else particularly around here. It's always worth exploring Duxon just because you can find out some really nice stuff about your past here. Even if it's through datapad form, it gives you a little bit of an insight into what the galaxy was like during the Mandalorian Wars. But again, this game is pretty much focused on that anyway. And apparently there's an invisible wall around this ship, which doesn't make sense. Oh, this path's a lot nicer. It's actually a much more vibrant colour as opposed to the really horrible looking dirt colour it normally is. This is a bit more colourful. I believe a cutscene should play before we go to the next area, but I'm going to make a save before we go. And off we go.
You let the ship escape? I will deal with your failure later, Captain. But for now, find that ship. Our ally has indicated that the Jedi hasn't left the system yet. Send a detachment to Duxon. If you find anything, alert me immediately. Now get out of my sight.
Well, that's rude. You could at least say please. But yeah, that's Colonel Tobin, who was referred to earlier, who bizarrely looks a lot like Brian Epstein. And anyone who knows who Brian Epstein is will know that was the Beatles manager. And I always thought Colonel Tobin was an evil Brian Epstein, if that makes sense. I have weird ways of saying things, and I say some weird stuff a lot of the time that only I appreciate, and other people are like, what the hell are you talking about?
I will silence this.
So yeah, let's kill these Canucks that are much stronger than they should be. And there's some HK-50s over here.
This shall not stop us long.
I'm so pleased that I've got a bank holiday weekend though. I'm looking forward to that nice bank holiday Monday lie-in, which I don't normally have. But yeah, off we go. Here's some more HK-50s. We don't need to worry about bringing HK to these now because we've triggered something for the end game. That's restored, so that's nice.
Unnecessary observation. You are eliminating many of us Jedi, but such actions only delay the inevitable. Annoying recitation. Let us proceed to facilitate communications. Recitation. And bring about the termination of hostilities.
Well, at least they've finally recognised that we're kicking their asses every single time they send some out, but whatever. Let's just destroy them. Oh, that's why Cray is not fighting straight away, because I've got to set to trigger force powers first, haven't I? Of course I have. And Jedi support means they prioritise force powers before actual combat. But that's fine. I'd rather Cray did that.
Stop. That is not the skeletal remnant of a war long past. That is a recent kill. It appears that Duxon isn't as abandoned as we would be led to believe.
Do you think he was alone?
I cannot say for certain. What I do know is our path came here for a reason, but let us press forward. You may find the answers you seek.
If I hear Cray say we've been brought here for a reason, or any other variant along those lines, I'm gonna do something I might regret. Like not keep her in the party. I think she'll interrupt you with a force vision thing if you don't have her with you, so that's a forced conversation, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, thorium charges, those will be useful. And a Mandalorian heavy blaster, that might also be useful. Don't really care about the rest. But yeah, there you go. And oh, we could use it to open the door. I'm going to leave it for a moment though, because I want to save them, at least initially. Because I think there's 3 areas that you can use thorium charges, or is it just the 2? I can't remember. But yeah, let's have a look. The plan for this part is to just discover these 2 areas of Duxon, and then after a certain cutscene's played, I'm going to leave it there. But yeah, let's carry on. I sometimes feel like a tour guide playing this game. I'm like, let's move on, let's carry on. We've talked for a bit and we've looked at the sites. Let's see what else the planet has to offer. I need to get away from that. But yeah, Cray is obsessed with saying our path has brought us here for a reason in this part of the game. which is a bit of a recurring gag, to be honest, at this point, because it just seems like the writers at Obsidian couldn't think of any other variant to give Kreia as dialogue, so they're just like, oh, I'll just use the stock line she has. It's fine. It could be a catchphrase. And you could make a drinking game out of it, to be honest, if you wanted to take a shot every single time Kreia says, our path has brought us here for a reason. Then you can. Anyway, I'm going to make a save because I think I'm approaching the end of this part, because I want to keep it short. Because I'm knackered. because I was building Lego earlier, and when you build a big Lego set that has lots of bricks that have the exact same colour, you'd be very surprised at how much that actually hurts your eyes. It's really bizarre, but playing this straight after that is not the wisest decision I've ever made. But anyway, let's make a save.
Hold it right there. We've got you surrounded.
Great, just what we needed. Mandalorians.
I'm surprised you got this far. The jungle doesn't usually let its prey go that easily. What are you doing here?
Oh, the writers told me I had to come here. What is it with Mandalorians and this damned moon?
We claimed this moon decades ago. We reforged ourselves after Exar Kun's defeat. Some of us call it home. Why are you trespassing here?
Our ship crashed, and we were forced to land here.
We expected as much. Few visit Duxon by choice. We have orders to escort you to our camp. Our leader wants to speak to you.
This may prove of use to us. Let us hear his words and see if they hold any value.
And if I refuse?
You are coming with us. I'm supposed to escort you peacefully, but the alternative is quite acceptable. So your choice is follow us as our guest, or see how Mandalorians have earned their reputation.
Oh, come on, I fought in the Mandalorian Wars. I know what your reputation is. Take me to the camp then. And that's where this part is going to end for now.